Good to see you, my brother. We were just talking before we went on the air. Um, it's been a while since we've seen each other. In fact, I do believe the last time we saw each other, a certain person that you were working with was performing in a small venue. I was one of the lucky ones to come in to see him perform. Of course, he's got the famous family and everything else too. And that was a couple of years. In fact, I think it was even before, it definitely was before COVID.
Yeah,
So it's been a
I
while. If you want to just tell people who that individual in the famous family, of
yes.
course.
Well, it is Ezra Jordan, who comes from Mark Jordan and Amy Sky, and I still actually very much work with him. But things have changed, Rudy, since the last time we spoke, and I believe that was actually Ezra's last show before lockdown.
Yeah, yeah, I do
Yeah.
believe so too. He did an amazing job. But look, I always end up talking to him. I never get a chance to talk to you because you have your own career. And from what I've been seeing and understanding, things are evolving here. So let me just get into a little bit of yourself, man. Were you always into music or were you just into the whole scene of entertainment?
Yeah, I think all of it. I grew up in an entertainment family. My dad's a film director, and my mom was managed a director. Um, so funny enough, I kind of followed the footsteps of my mom at the start. Managing, getting into management, and working with Ezra, of course, and also Chin and Jetty, who is, as you know, is an amazing human being. And then unfortunately, when COVID hit. Ezra and I kind of discussed like what were the next steps. We had a tour planned, a whole release plan, and things kind of changed, as you know, as everyone
Yeah.
knows. And we started looking at like doing more video production and doing like music videos, live performance videos, and all that. And I ended up starting to produce these. And at that moment, I was kind of like, wait, is this my calling? Is this where I'm going? But I was like, I could never just walk away from Ezra. And as this was going on, we also put on, I think you remember during COVID, the Homebody Music Festival, which was over
Yes.
2 weekends, 55 artists. Um, and that was just a crew of like seven of us. It was very small. But after that, Ezra and I kind of spoke, and he was planning on moving to Nashville to kind of focus more on the songwriting aspect of the music industry. And I said, well, I feel like I'm kind of really interested in this video film stuff. So we still till the to this day we still work together. And you'll ask him, he's like, I'm Lukas is my manager, and I will always say Ezra's my artist. But at the same time, we're also doing our separate things as well, where I've moved into doing a lot of commercial content for companies like Taroni and Cumbraes, and that's how what it really got the ball rolling. Um, and then I got this opportunity to move to LA and work with this management company called Agency Arts, and they manage directors and photographers. And just working with them, I was able to like dial it in and actually kind of as a management consultant is how I got the visa. So I was essentially consulting these productions and like, telling them how, what they should do and what I'd recommend and finding new ways to like new methods to essentially make the production be smoother, more efficient. And one of those videos that I was able to be the lead production manager on was or manager consultant, apologies, uh, was Somber by Back to Friends, which just won a VMA for Best Alternative. Um, so it was pretty surreal. Fun fact, I actually won one when I was a kid as a star in one in a Zero Roast Untitled video. Um, so it was pretty surreal, and I don't think it's hit me yet, but I mean the director Gus Black, he's an incredible talented director, and and the crew was great, and obviously Somber's somber. Yeah, so but a lot has changed. I mean, I'm still very much working with Ezra.
Yeah.
That said, I'm moving more into to film, and I'm actually developing some cool projects that I can't speak too much on, but one of them is actually the story of NBA Jam. Obviously, I'm sure you're familiar with NBA Jam, but just
Oh yeah.
for the listeners, NBA Jam was essentially the first video game, that got the secured the license of a national sports league. It was the first ever video game to do that. And it was an arcade. It was huge in the 90s, and it made $1 billion in quarters in its first year. So I'm working with Best Cross's studio, and we're currently developing something really cool. But you can't, that's all I can say right now.
I'm just curious, man. Did you get a Moon Man?
No, not yet, not that I know of. But if I can
Okay.
get one, I'm gonna figure it out.
Okay. Fingers crossed on that. What do you think now it's funny because you talked about the influences on both your parents. In the beginning, it was your mom. Then it was your dad, if you think of it that way. What has your dad said about this? I'm just curious on the transition, and has he given you any advice?
Absolutely. I mean, he's one of, if not the most creative person I know, from every aspect. Like, he cooks dinner for us as a kid that would be like this like Michelin star dinner, and he's super creative. He thinks of things on the go 24/7. And he's been very much in my corner and just been a nice wall to spitball or throw ideas at. And if I have questions, he's a director, so a lot of the, anything production, like producing related, he might not necessarily have all the answers, but he definitely directs me in the right way. And we actually have a couple projects that we're working together on, which is also super exciting. Um, but it's been great. They both, my mom and my dad, have been extremely supportive and just there to letting me do my own thing, but also if I need a hand, I have a question, they'll happily answer and guide me in the right direction.
What's it like as a Canadian, applying his trade in the US, going back and forth? Is that tough? And especially these days now with all the crazy talk that goes on in the government about the film industry.
Yeah, I mean, especially right now is very interesting and keeps everyone on their toes. I try my best I've got nothing to hide. I'm me. I'm just trying to make some films and work in this industry. And I I think it's definitely a little worrisome, maybe, but like I said, I have nothing to worry about, and I'm not hiding anything. So I feel like I'm just going through the motions and hoping for the best.
Well, I want the best for you, which I think is amazing that you're doing this. If I could wave my wand right now and give you the perfect film project, what would it be and why?
Ooh. Um, I mean, this has always been a dream of mine and maybe a passion project, but my maybe on the life of my grandmother. She's had an incredible journey. She's outlived two husbands. She has five kids. She was sandboarding at age 70, was, living in a farm in the middle of nowhere in Peru, and until like I think 85. Um, she has done all these incredible things that I'm still learning stories to this day. I'll just sit down with her when I come visit Toronto, and she'll be telling me like, what? She worked in like this like in the army or the military or something like that too. It's just she never ceases to like amaze me. She has every aspect, so I think something there would be really interesting.
I love that, man. What advice can you give anybody who is in the stage of their life where they feel like they're established in one thing, but suddenly there's this passion of something else? A lot of people don't want to make that switch because they've already established themselves. They're making the finances work. They're living, just the way they live. And then suddenly there's this thing that's drawing them somewhere else. That can be a very scary thing, especially for somebody who gets older and older and older. What advice can you give them when they're stuck in that crossroad?
That's a great question. I think for me, it was kind of, I never really thought of it that way. I just
Mhm.
thought of this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
as long as I was doing, you know, a small step every day, it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're happy and, you find your way. I think everything else will kind of fall into place. My girlfriend actually, who I admire a lot, she actually was had this unbelievable bank job that she got out of university and worked her way up and was like very doing very well for herself and wasn't liking it. And she just completely quit, went to university at NYU, and is currently getting her master's for integrated marketing at NYU. Um, and it's like I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? But she's following her dreams and she's doing what she wants, and it's very inspirational.
Well, you're both inspirational. I gotta say, man, congratulations on walking this line in your life. Um, NBA Jam, can we talk when this comes together? And hopefully we get a chance to talk to some other projects?
Absolutely, Rudy, you're my first call. We're over to
Fantastic.
actually do a face to face. I need to give you a big hug.
Absolutely, man. And cross fingers. One day we could be on the red carpet at TIFF talking about one of your films that are being done there. I love that, man, for you.
That would be incredible. Growing up in Toronto and going to TIFF and, you know, working with you from the behind the scenes, it'd be pretty awesome to do that. So
I
I'm
love it,
looking
man. My brother, thank you so much for this, man, and
Thank
good
you.
luck on this amazing journey you're on.
You're amazing, Rudy. Thank you so much.